My heart went into cardiac arrest 8 times. 4 of the times that I went out, I had an out of body experience. I was in the judgment room. There were people as far as I could see. Some were getting lifted up, some were getting pulled down. I never had any fear. I was never scared of anything. And remember getting a kind of a harmony feeling when the people were getting lifted up. And when the people were going down, I didn't get scared, but I did notice the smell and the fear in their face.
Well, welcome to Fully Alive in Him podcast that has just kind of begun, and then I took a long break. But I'm so happy to be back, and today I'm especially happy because I have a very special guest with me, and that is my Uncle Benny. And he is not technically my uncle. Benny is actually my dad's cousin, my dad's first cousin. So I think technically we're kind of second cousins or something like that removed. I'm not very good with that stuff, but I call him Uncle Benny, and I'm just so thankful to have him on the podcast today because he has an incredible testimony to share with our listeners. And so, welcome, Uncle Benny.
Well, thank you, Heidi.
So glad to have you on here today. Um, we reconnected recently. We were at a family funeral, and while we were there, I just got a chance to sit down with you, and I was so thankful to do that because we really haven't had a lot of chances over time to just sit down and chat. And while we were doing that, you told me the story of just a time where you were having a lot of major health issues and what God did. And I was just immediately like, man, would you be willing to share this with others? Because I think it's a really powerful testimony. And I think it really gives us a glimpse into what is coming for all of us, a moment of clarity of who we've followed throughout our lives. And so let's just kind of go into that story. But before we get there, I do want to hear a little bit about your background and how you came to faith in God.
Well, I grew up in a Christian home, and so I was grew up that way, and I've always been a believer, and I just I don't I think like everybody I've sinned, but I have always thought about what would my mom do, you know, because she was very Christian, and so I followed her, and always have been a believer though. So, but
Yeah. Yeah, your mom was amazing, and really all of her sisters and the whole
yeah,
crew, they just all loved Jesus so much. And I would say they've been instrumental in so many of our faith, not only just in our family, but beyond because of their faith in God. It's been
yeah,
pretty incredible.
yes, sir. And I'll get to the story later, but I think a lot of that was my mom's prayers that got me through what I went through. But so
Yeah, totally. The prayer of a mom can't be underestimated, I
that is
believe.
true.
Yeah. So how many years was it ago that your mom was having a 90th birthday party, which she ended up living to be 100?
Yes, that was 2013.
Okay.
And, my ordeal all started in March of 2013. I'd been perfectly well, just started feeling bad. So I went to doctor after doctor after doctor, spent time in several hospitals, lots of tests, and they never really could figure anything out. I got to the point where they sent me home, and I just had no strength. I was just feeling terrible all the time. And I this went on from probably about 2 weeks in and out of hospitals. Finally got to the point that a minister came over and gave me my last rites.
And so there was no reason that was known why this all began.
Right. They said they checked everything, couldn't find anything. So finally, I get admitted to a hospital, and I'm there for about 2 weeks.
Mm.
They run tests, test, test. I just keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So finally, they come in one morning. They said, "We're sending you to Baptist Hospital, and which is one of the bigger hospitals around here, and they have better facilities." So they sent me there, and uh, I have a friend that has a company called MedRide, and so one of my friends does
Okay.
their transports. So he came and got me and took me there. Uh, I was there probably less than a day, and they had me trying to move around and stuff, and I was just really weak, and I was starting to swell. My legs were swelling, arms, fingers, everything were swelling, to the point that I mean I couldn't move. And so that's when they took me to to the Baptist Hospital.
Mhm.
Well, I'm there about an hour, and they came in and they said, "Well, you're in liver and kidney failure."
Wow.
And so they said, "We're putting you on dialysis immediately." So they put me in the urgent care and, or yeah, the urgent care, and had me hooked up to dialysis. I was on there 24 hours a day.
And you've
And
never had dialysis before? Right.
no, no.
Crazy.
And so they're testing everything because it's pretty unusual for your liver and kidneys to both go out at the same time.
Hmm.
And so, but they ended up calling it an autoimmune disease, just saying my body started attacking itself. So they never really came up with a reason why it happened. But so I continue to get sick. And so I'm there about less than 24 hours. And this is my mom's 90th birthday. And at this point, I told her to, because she had been down here, but I told her to stay there, enjoy your birthday party. And my sister, Judy and Jim were there, my sister and brother in law. They were having the party, getting ready to start it. And I'm sitting at the hospital with my wife, Kelly, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed. And I told her, I said, "You need to call a nurse." And she goes, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Just call the nurse." And then I passed out. And
Wow.
that's the first time I went into cardiac arrest. And so I woke up and I'm in a room with doctors all around. They got me tied to the bed because they have a ventilator shoved down my throat. And that's when I really realized that it was serious. But
Yeah.
they resuscitated me, I'm sure, because they shocked me.
Okay.
Uh, but my heart went into cardiac arrest 8 times. And this was the first time. And I knew it was happening before it happened because I had time to tell my wife that it was happening.
Oh, wow. And so between the time that you kind of knew it was happening and that cardiac arrest, for those of us who don't know, does that mean your heart just completely stops?
It's running out of rhythm. My heart rate starts going down, your oxygen level starts going down, but your heart valves aren't opening and closing at the right time. So blood is either pulling up in your heart, and so which if you don't get your heart beating back at the right, and that's why they do that's why they shock your chest
Yeah.
to get your body back, your heart back in the right rate.
Okay.
And I've never had any heart problems up to this point, never anything. So I wake up in the hospital in a room with ventilators and doctors working on me everywhere, and
So you have the tube down the throat.
yes, and I'm strapped to the bed because I apparently kept trying to grab it out.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so at that point, I really realized, okay, this is more than just something happening. And so at that point, they get my heart stabilized, get me in the emergency or the urgent care where I've got 24-hour surveillance, and I wake up and I'm on dialysis. I've got, tubes everywhere, checking everything. Doctors in there every 10 minutes checking stuff. So this went on, and over the period of the next 3 weeks, my heart went into cardiac arrest 7 more times.
Wow.
And I knew it was happening every time. So I would have the opportunity to let them know.
So between when you knew it was happening and actually passing out from it, how long was that? Was like a few seconds, a few minutes?
No, probably under a minute.
So just a very short amount of time to kind of hit the emergency button or tell
Yes. Yes.
whoever's with you.
Yes. And, I remember going in and out during the whole process. 4 of the times that I went out, I had an out of body experience.
Wow.
And it was the same every time. What I feel, I was in the judgment room. There were people as far as I could see, and some were getting lifted up, some were getting pulled down. I never had any fear. I was never scared of anything. I was always very at peace. And remember getting a kind of a harmony feeling when the people were getting lifted up. And when the people were going down, I didn't get scared, but I did notice the smell and the fear in their face, their eyes. They could just tell something was happening.
And so you said you noticed a smell when someone was being pulled down. What did it
Mhm.
smell like?
Just horrific. Once again, even though I could smell it, it didn't bother me.
Like it didn't take your peace away that you had.
Yes, yes, I was always in a very safe place.
Each time that you were in that space and had that out of body experience, how long did it seem like you were in that space?
It seemed like quite a while. I
Really?
know it wasn't, but I think since everything was so peaceful and the pain was gone, and so I was in a very good place. It seemed like it was longer than it was.
And did you ever recognize from one of those experiences to the next anybody from the previous, or was it always new people?
Always new people. Yeah. And then I had several other people tell me about things. My boss was there. He visited a lot. And he told me this after the fact. I don't even remember this,
Mm.
but my heart was getting ready to stop one of the times. And he was sitting there talking to me. And I said, well, I called the nurses and I said, well, would you keep an eye on my son? He was 17 at the time. And he said he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, it's going to be all right. He said, God's going to heal you. He said, then the signs started going off. You were in cardiac arrest. And so he said, they worked on me, uh, shocked me, got my heart back in rhythm and everything. A little bit later, I don't know the exact time, but he said, I looked at him and said, no, that's all right. I'll take care of him.
You don't remember that.
I don't remember that at
That's
all.
amazing.
Yeah.
So when you were in that space and you think that was like the judgment seat of Christ as the Bible describes
That's
it,
that's what I think. Yes.
wow. Did you see Jesus in there?
No, I did not.
Okay. And how many people do you think were in what you saw?
It was endless.
And were they like close together? Were they kind of spread out?
Probably arm's length away.
Were they talking to each other?
No,
So everyone's just kind of standing there. And then would it be one person at a time just going up or down?
that's all I noticed.
One
But
person at a time. Okay.
yeah, but like I said, I was in a pretty peaceful place. But I just felt like I was in a very protected place, and even though we weren't very far apart, I didn't feel like I was in any danger.
Did you have any sense at all of like not wanting to go back? Like not
Uh,
wanting to kind of go back to normal life or
no, I did up till the last one.
yeah.
I mean, I wanted to come back.
Okay.
I knew that I needed to be there for my son, and
Hmm.
and I had things going. I didn't want to die, and so my wife, and so I just, I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And I remember one time my son had told me that I had told him when I found he knew my heart was getting ready to stop again. I told him, I said, "Well, I have to go now, but I'll be back."
Wow.
And I remember he told me the first time my heart stopped, which was on my mom's 90th birthday. And as soon as that happened, Judy and Jim got in the car and they started driving mom to Oklahoma City. But they had called Tyler, my son. He was at work. And he said by the time he got to the hospital, to my hospital room, it was empty. The place was a mess, and I was gone.
Oh.
So he just sat down in a chair, and his first thought was, something happened to me.
Mhm.
And then a nurse came in and said, "Oh no, they moved him to urgent care."
Oh, how scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and he uh, he visited a lot, and I think that was a hard time for him. And so I wanted to live up to that point.
Yeah.
When I got to the last time my heart went into cardiac arrest, I was very sick. I mean, I was swollen so much that I couldn't even move my toes, couldn't move my fingers. I mean, my body was just totally swollen because they couldn't, even with doing dialysis 24 hours a day, they couldn't get the fluids out of my body.
Mm.
And they were coming in several times a week and sticking this big needle in my back, drawing the fluid out of my lungs.
Ouch.
And I mean, it was just, and I couldn't move. I would just, and I had lost, I don't know, close to 90 pounds.
And did you tell me last time we talked about this? Did you tell me that they had also put you on the transplant list for both kidney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I was on the transplant list for both the liver and kidneys. And if you're getting both liver and kidneys, they have to come from the same person,
Oh, I didn't know that, but it
which
makes
I wasn't aware of that either, but it makes
yeah.
sense. So on the liver transplant list, I was second on the United States on the list.
Oh my.
And I know it was God's intent that I didn't get a liver and kidney.
Hmm. So, like the liver and kidney, did you have ongoing problems because they were that bad? Because most people, I mean, I've never heard of somebody being on a transplant list for liver or kidney and not getting a transplant and then being fine. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone else being that way. So were your liver and your kidneys like they were okay after that?
They're completely fine. I get them checked every year. My doctor says, "See you next year." Um,
That's amazing.
um, I mean, I'm one of the few people that get off the liver and kidney transplant list, both of them like that.
Yeah.
The last time, which was the eighth time that my heart stopped,
Mhm.
um, at that point, I was just totally swollen. I mean, couldn't move, couldn't eat, couldn't. I mean, I was ready. And when I went to that room, I just told God, I said, "I'm ready. Take me."
Hmm.
And I apparently I had called my sister Kathy to come up there. I didn't remember doing that, but I'd had him call her, and she came up there, and I don't remember really being there or anything, but she said I was talking not a lot of sense and
Mhm.
things that didn't make any sense, and so when I went to that room, I was ready to go. I was just ready to pass on, and I just completely gave up. Said, "God, take me." And the next day, I wake up and my room's full of doctors, which it often was because OU's a training, or where I was at, Baptist was a training hospital, so there's still a lot of people there, and so but exceptional amount of people that, and they were doctors, and So they were all looking at me and said, "Well, we're taking you off of dialysis. Your kidneys are working." And so I'm
Wow.
sitting there, and my mom's actually there. My mom spent a lot of time with me and prayed
Mhm.
with me a
Okay.
lot. And so about 10 minutes later, the orderlies come in. They said, "Well, we're taking you to dialysis." And I'm like, "No, I don't have to go anymore." And they're like, "No, we've got orders. We got to take you." So they put me in a wheelchair, wheeled me down there, hooked me up dialysis, and I'm there about 10 minutes, and my kidney doctor comes by and he goes, "What are you doing?" I told him I wasn't on dialysis. And he said, "Well," he said, so he went and got him. He said, "Take him off. He's not on dialysis anymore."
Wow.
And I actually had a few days ago found a notebook. Mom wrote down every day what the doctor said, and I found that note where she said they came in and they, and I forgot about that, but they had taken me to dialysis even though I wasn't on it anymore. So they're all amazed, and they're running all kinds of tests. Doctors are coming by. I mean, it's crazy. There's just so much going on. And so the next day, wake up, feeling better already, starting to lose some of the swelling, and it's probably the best I'd felt in a long time. And this is all after that last night that I just totally gave up and said, "Take me,
Hmm.
bring me home. I'm ready." And so that next morning, of course, my kidney started working, and I'm sure that was a pretty immediate thing. And by the time that morning came around, they took me off dialysis. And so the next morning, my room's full of doctors again, and now my liver's working.
Wow.
And so once again, more tests all day, and just, and everybody's wondering what's happening, what's going on. From that point on, I just got better and better. Slowly started getting off machines. I did end up getting a pacemaker during that whole process, and that helped where they had to quit shocking me. And that's after the eighth time they put the pacemaker in.
Mm.
And that was after I started getting better, though, so that they didn't have to shock me anymore. I got the pacemaker, rarely goes off, but they weren't able to do it up to that point because I was too sick.
Hmm.
So, so they put that in, and then I just continued to get better. Moved finally to Jim Thorpe Rehab. I was in the hospital a year after that, and my main doctor saw me, and he couldn't believe it. He goes, "I can't believe how you look." He just and so as I go see my
So he
doctors
didn't
every
just
year,
take the credit.
yeah. Well, that's what he said. He goes, and Mom always prayed for the surgeons to God to give the surgeons the knowledge they need and move their hands where they need to. And
Hmm. So how
but
long between that eighth time and getting moved to rehab? Do you know how long that was?
that was about 2 weeks.
Okay. So quick.
Uh,
I mean, pretty quick, just like a turnaround and for no reason.
yeah.
I mean, did they have any indication of why you just turned around all of a sudden?
No, I mean, I spent 2 weeks in that first hospital. Besides being in and out of hospitals before that, 2 weeks in the one hospital, and then in Baptist Hospital, I was there 5 weeks total,
Okay.
and then two weeks at Jim Thorpe Rehab.
2 weeks. Only 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I
That's
couldn't
pretty
walk when I
amazing
got.
too. I mean, I feel like usually when people go to rehab, it's a longer deal.
Well, I was ready to go, and
Yeah.
I was feeling so much better. I mean, the speed that I recovered was just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even hesitate to say that was miraculous.
Yeah. I always ask the question, well, why did I get the miracle and not somebody else? And I figured God had a plan for me, but I don't. That's one thing that's always bugged me is, why me? So,
Yeah. So I'm here. Other people didn't make it. Why am I here? You do have an incredible testimony, and I think when God does give people, because it has happened to so many people, but yet relatively few of like the whole population where people have these near death experiences and giving us this little glimpse into, the afterlife or the judgment seat, like for you. And it's a powerful thing to consider, because when we consider our own mortality, it really quickens us, I think, to say, man, like, and the Bible also says, like, teach us to number our days so that we can gain a heart of wisdom. And thinking about, wow, there is a finite end to this. There's a finite amount of energy that I'll have in this life, and what am I going to do with it? And how can the kingdom come more, through what I do every day versus just kind of living for myself and my distractions. So I know that when you told me this story, I was really blown away by it. What God showed you and what he revealed to you. I just think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing. I'm sorry you had to go through all that suffering, but I'm so glad you're still with us. And I'm just really thankful that you're willing to share this kind of a story with people, because it's an intimate thing. I mean, that you experienced with the Lord and with your own life, and it's precious.
Well, I'll tell you, I feel blessed every day, and I definitely look at life different
Hmm.
after going through that. I mean, you enjoy life more. Don't worry about the little things as much. I mean, it's just I have a more of a peace in my life since
Hmm.
it happened. And I think one thing that bugs my wife still is I really don't have a fear of dying, because I know that just the peace I felt when I was there. I really don't have any fear of dying. And I mean, I'm not ready to go, but when that time comes, I'm not going to be scared.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you want to say anything more about why you think possibly God might have given you these out of body experiences?
I think maybe he was just, showing me that, maybe examine my life, and I've always been a believer, and
Yeah.
I've always felt saved. And even more so now, I try to live my life more according to God's what we got to do, and what my mom do. So,
I love that.
I figure if I can be more like her, then I'll be pretty close.
I love it. So, is there anything else you want to say about how it's changed you? Anything else you want to say about that?
Like I said, you just enjoy life more. Try to spend more time with family when you can, and definitely the support of my family and my friends that got me through this.
Yeah.
My mom just, I mean, we prayed every day. And even after I got out of the hospital, she called and we prayed every day. And my sisters and brother in law, work friends, my friends' friends, I mean, everybody was just such a good support group. I'll tell you, when stuff like that does happen, you find out who your real friends are. You try to live your life better.
Yeah.
So, and don't waste time, and take time for yourself. I was always the person that was going, 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 and I've tried to slow down a little bit and take some time for myself, and
Yeah.
which I never did.
Yeah. Rest. It's amazing, just when and I love that God actually had that as part of the big, 10 commandments is to rest. Take a
Yeah.
day and rest. And I love your green grass behind you too. It reminds me of the psalm that talks about, he lays me down in green pastures and he leads me beside quiet waters and restores my soul. And in a way, it almost sounds like, going through all of this, in a way, would you describe it as a way that God kind of restored your soul?
Yes, and definitely renewed. If I ever had a loss of faith, it definitely renewed it,
Hmm.
and my boss said that too. He said, man, if there was any doubt in my faith, renewed it, and
It's wonderful to see just what God has done in you and what he's doing through you and what he will do through you, as long as he has you here. So I wanted to see if you might pray for people, because I think that's the power of your testimony is this faith renewal. Like, we really are living for something. there really is an end to each of our lives, but it's not the end. And we go on, and we're going to go up or down. You know, we have a choice between heaven and hell. And I was going to see if you might be willing to pray for people who have watched this or listening to this, and maybe just whatever you feel led to pray. But I just especially too want to pray that they would find peace with God, and that they would find comfort knowing that they do have an eternal security because they've accepted Jesus as their savior. So however you feel led, though.
Okay.
Thanks.
Dear Lord, personally, I want to thank you for my healing. I always question why I was the one that got it. And please be with everybody out there that's needing healing. You have the power to heal them. Please give people the strength, give the doctors the knowledge, lead their surgeons' hands to heal people. We all need your existence in our life. Amen.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you so much.
You bet.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. And if you ever get to Oklahoma, come see me.
Would love to.
Okay.
All right. Well, you take care and have a
All right.
wonderful rest of your day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.